climate change is either the biggest crisis of our lifetime or a problem we misunderstand entirely. The data is real, but what does it mean? The arguments are loud, and everyone has an agenda. Either way, the issue remains vital for our planet and its future. These are the facts. Let's dig a little deeper. Climate change isn't just a scientific term. Before factories and cars and power grids, the planet was cooler. Since that era, global temperatures have risen by about 1.1 degrees Celsius. Most researchers point to the same cause: human activity. Nations began industrializing in the late 1800s, burning massive amounts of coal, oil, and gas, clearing forests, and automating production. All of this released heat-trapping gases like carbon dioxide and methane into the atmosphere. That trapped heat is what scientists say is driving the warming trend we see today.
At the same time, a small group of scientists argue the rise is overstated, that climate models may be exaggerating how much influence humans actually have.
Since 1850, global CO2 levels have risen over 40%, mostly from one source: energy. And mostly from the countries that industrialized first: the US, China, and much of Europe. Meanwhile, countries like India are growing fast and adding emissions, but per person emit far less. Deforestation and agriculture also contribute significantly, while natural factors such as solar, volcanic, and ocean cycles are also studied. Some researchers argue these natural variations may play a greater role than currently assumed. As the planet warms, researchers are tracking a cascade of changes. As polar ice melts, sea levels are creeping up at a rate of about 3.7 millimeters every year. Extreme weather is becoming more common, while ecosystems are losing species at a faster rate than before. Economists predict by the year 2100, storms and flooding alone could rack up as much as $100 trillion in damage, massively stressing the global economy. However, projections carry uncertainties due to regional variability, adaptations, and natural factors. In 2015, 196 nations signed the Paris Agreement, a plan to keep global warming under 2 degrees Celsius. Each country filed its own roadmap, promising to reach net zero emissions by 2050 through renewables, reforestation, and new carbon capture tech. The Paris Agreement warns the world is warming. Just how much comes down to money, dependence on technologies that aren't fully proven, and shifts in political willpower. Imbalances in carbon emissions are drastic. The richest countries make up just 16% of the world's population, but produce almost 40% of global CO2. An average American emits 15.5 tons a year, about 8 times more than someone in India. Worse, many low emitters, especially small islands and developing countries, face the harshest climate impacts, with basic security and even their very existence at stake. In July 2025, the International Court of Justice delivered an advisory opinion declaring that countries failing to protect the climate system may violate international law. But public opinion is far from unified. Roughly 65% of people worldwide see climate change as a serious threat, with younger generations leading the charge. However, skepticism persists.
It's climate change. It's the greatest con job ever perpetrated on the world, in my opinion.
Especially in some industrialized nations, where 10 to 15% of people question human-driven climate change, often citing natural variability or distrust in scientific models. After all the data, arguments, and politics, we end up with 3 distinct narratives that dominate the conversation. The climate concern narrative states change is a global crisis that scientific consensus holds is driven by human activities. NASA and IPCC data confirm a 1.1 degrees Celsius temperature rise, causing melting ice, rising seas, and extreme weather that threatens ecosystems, food security, and coastal communities, and could lead to severe economic damage. Urgent action, cutting emissions, expanding renewables, and enforcing the Paris Agreement is critical to limit warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius and prevent irreversible impacts. The climate skeptic narrative states change is overstated and driven by natural cycles rather than human activity. Historical temperature fluctuations predate industrialization, and Antarctic ice has expanded in some areas. IPCC models exaggerate warming, and NASA's short-term data ignores geological trends. Sea level rise is manageable, yet economic costs are inflated to justify restrictive policies. Alarmist narratives distract from practical solutions like innovation and adaptation. The optimist narrative states climate change is real, but manageable through innovation and human progress. The focus should be on improving lives, not fear. Advances in renewables, electric vehicles, and nuclear energy have already cut projected emissions by over 40%. Lowering the green premium and investing in affordable zero-carbon technologies can help the world adapt and thrive while continuing the progress already underway. And thrive while continuing the progress already underway.